Hello and welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Monday News Roundup, sponsored by Baby Yoda. This is the Monday News Roundup. This is going to be a more relaxed look at the weekend's headlines, anything that caught our eye of the weekend. This won't be replacing the Daily Triple as your staple news update. It's just a new format that we'll be experimenting with. Viewer discretion advised. There may be a little bit of faff in this video, and I like to call this show the Daily Piffle. Get it, Henry? No?
Hilarious.
Well,
no doubt a lot of people can be like, what's piffle mean?
Yeah.
How do you spell it?
Frantically Googling it to see what piffle means, alongside faff in their Google search history. So first up, making the rounds this weekend was this controversial mod in Red Dead Redemption 2 called Hot Coffee. Now, this the creator is being threatened with legal action from Take-Two because it's too rude, essentially. The mod allows Arthur Morgan to have sex with a prostitute. So you walk up to her in a bar, proposition her, take her to the room, and then have fully clothed consensual sex in this game, and that's too much for them.
It's getting me all hot and bothered.
That's too much. The mod uses all recycled assets from the game. So when she's on top of Arthur Morgan, she's riding like she's riding a horse, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what the animation's from.
Sure.
And Arthur Morgan sounds like he's been punched in the face because that's where they got the... sounds like it's a very painful time for her. Ow! She's doing something something painful to his nether regions.
I really hope he's inserted in their
Yeah, you're all right, girl. I don't think they have. You can press a button to change the camera angle, but they're fully clothed anyway, so it's like
nothing.
Really, it's not even that bad. But Take-Two aren't happy about it. They're threatening legal action unless he takes it down. And when the creator of the mod asked them, what laws am I breaking? They said, they're pointing to the EULA, which states, prohibits acts like decompiling, preparing derivative works based on, or otherwise modifying the software. They also pointed out the code of conduct, which, quote, includes a prohibition on users creating, uploading, or posting material that is vulgar, obscene, sexual oriented, or inconsistent with community standards. So that's what he's been threatened with. Eurogamer, who spoke to the creator of this mod, whose name is Unlosing, or screen name is Unlosing, and he said, I don't think I'm going to take the mod down anytime soon. So he's preparing to fight.
Unlosing by name, unlosing by nature, definitely. I don't really know what legal power they could really have here, because an EULA, I don't know if that's legally enforceable. It's your end user license agreement, which means they can just stop your ability to play it because they revoke your license, essentially. Yeah. And code of conduct, again, it's a similar sort of thing. They can just ban you. I don't know if they can take you to court over it. They might be able to. I don't really know. But the thing is, it's fully clothed. Is it really that harmful? There's so many much worse things you can do in Red Dead. You can
absolutely
capture people, hog tie them, throw them on railroad tracks, then they explode when they get hit by a train. You go on murder sprees all over the place. You can kill animals. You can look at horse balls shrinking and growing. Isn't that obscene?
You can burn people alive. One of the missions actually sees Arthur Morgan, spoiler alert, get raped, or suggest that he gets raped.
It's very much suggested that's what's
happened. So how is that even half as... how is this mod half as bad as some of the things that are in the game? It's ridiculous.
Maybe they're just prudes, and all of the excess stuff that was in GTA, where you can have sex with people and there's mechanics for it, and you can go to a strip club where everyone's topless, that was too much for them. Maybe it's since Dan Houser's gone. Maybe Dan Houser was the one who was all about that stuff, and now he's out. They're like, no, we can finally get rid of it.
That's vulgar, please. Okay, next up, the next story I spotted in Polygon, and it's titled, Where's Ghost Recon Breakpoint's new immersive mode? A peeved community wants to know. Now, they're talking about the community on Reddit specifically, and saying that basically they haven't had any updates on the game, or this supposed update that they're going to have. So, according to the game's roadmap, they're going to get a new immersive experience in February. But they've had no news, and there's Ubisoft promised to be more transparent following their disaster of a launch, which was absolutely, the game was panned and everything. They promised to do better, and they just gone pretty much radio silent. And it's supposed to be a new update to keep players interested by the end of the month, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
It's just classic games as a service, though, isn't it? Like, we've seen it time and time again. Game releases in a pretty shitty state, full of bugs, it's incomplete. Then like, oh no, we'll fix it over time. It's a service, we're going to update it. then the updates never really come. There's nothing substantial. It's certainly possible that they'll do a No Man's Sky, come out of nowhere and just be like, here's the upgraded version, like a re-release or something.
Yeah.
I'm not really holding my breath on that one, though.
No, there you go. So the next story, streamers are leaving PUBG, and the most upvoted comment on Reddit is a fuck you to the developer. Now, another community outrage story, 2 in a row, man. This weekend's been a beefy one. The Reddit post, the post that people are most upvoting, it's 4.2 thousand upvotes currently since we researched this. It points out the fact that the average concurrent players in the game dropped to 20% what it was 23 months ago. So it was at 1.25 million or something. It's down to 250,000 players, which is still a lot of...
Still a hefty amount of people.
Still a lot of players. 250,000 players concurrently still playing on average. And so the title of the post is years of devs ignoring their player base and the results are in lol F you Bluehole destroyed a great game. That's not the only complaint in the subreddit. There are other complaints which include that loads of hackers still using aimbots. There's a bug in the game which makes the game lag when you aim down the sights, which can't be great. There's a floating weapon/items bug which has been around for 2 years, still not fixed. And there's also sound issues which they promised to fix and it's not been. One of the parts of the story that's caught a lot of attention is that one of the biggest PUBG streamers has announced that he would be taking a break from the game because of all this nonsense. Now, Choco Taco is the streamer in question, and he said on Twitter, PUBG is a mess. New patch brought a handful of new bugs as usual. A lot of people still can't play the game without constant packet loss or stuttering. Server location keeps changing with no communication. New features don't even work. Not having fun. Decided to on customs early. Obviously a typo there. And all my custom game presets don't work again. Loads of issues, never got addressed. It's hard to enjoy the game a lot of the time. Whenever this COD Battle Royale launches, I'll be taking a break from PUBG. That said, there was something I spotted in VG247, I think, where SuperData have published their January report. They're a market analyst firm who report on all the money people are making in the industry. Now, apparently, Season 6 of PUBG, which was launched in January, saw a massive 512% boost in spending on the PC.
That's despite the numbers being so small.
Yeah, but despite people dropping, I mean, compared to with December, so that's people spending that much more money than they did in December. So they've had a good January, whether it's based on the new patch arriving or not, but people, community isn't happy with the patch, but they're spending loads of money, which is a bit questionable. So just a couple of details on the new patch. Arrived on January the 22nd. Included a new map called Karakin, which is the smallest one yet. It's 2 by 2 kilometers. It's the first map to include environmental destruction, which is nice. Also brought bullet penetration too, but that's only on that map for now. But fans aren't happy, but they're still making loads of money.
I mean, PUBG launched and it was massive. It was kind of the first one to boom in the Battle Royale boom, right? And then Fortnite came along and did everything kind of differently, and a lot of its fan base went to that because it's colourful and bright and you can build, and people liked that more than PUBG. And it was in early access for quite a long time, and people praised it for its more realistic approach and it's kind of gritty. But then when it left early access, it still had a reasonable amount of bugs, but people were like, oh, it's fine, it's just come out of early access. But
the jank, like the animation jank.
But a lot of those bugs are still there. And that was back in, 2017, and they just haven't been fixed. So I think it's fair that people are pretty miffed, to say the least, about this one.
They're focusing on battle passes and stuff like that, and just fix the core game. Like, make the core
fundamentals is what you got to get right.
Anyway, people aren't happy. Let's move on to the next story, which I spotted in Eurogamer. CD Projekt is now the second biggest video game in Europe, which is news. Previously, they weren't the second biggest. Now they are. Ubisoft are the biggest gaming company in Europe. So the value of CDPR has raised from $6.8 billion to $8 billion in a little over a month, thanks to the continued success of the Witcher 3 game. Now, sales have increased by 500% because of Netflix. Witcher. I mean,
is this a surprise now? Like,
everyone's granny's playing the Witcher
everyone's
now.
Playing it. Like, there's all the stories of like blokes watching it with their mums, and then the mums are like, oh, I'll play the game now, and then it's their first like foray into video gaming.
Everyone wants to be Geralt. So they're only the company is valued at 1.6 billion less than Ubisoft now, which is about valued at 9.6 billion. So they're catching up with Ubisoft, that's for sure.
They're getting there. And it's a testament to just make a good game. And yeah, you might not have enormous profits from microtransactions and shit, you know, on day one, but eventually you're going to be worth 8 billion. Just make a really fucking good game.
Yeah, 5 years later, your company is still going strong because of the quality of the game that you made 5 years ago. It just goes to show, doesn't it? You don't need this game as a service. You just need great games.
And to be right behind Ubisoft, who have been there forever. Ubisoft have been around forever. CD Projekt have been, you know, a much smaller amount of time.
Well, they only had one AAA game.
Yeah, realistically.
The Witcher 3, right?
And they're about to have another one with Cyberpunk, so who knows where they'll be this time next year.
There you go. Next story is that EA cancelled another Star Wars game. It was a Battlefront spin-off. This is according to... this is last year when they cancelled it. This is a Kotaku article. Jason Schreier's been at it again, talking to his sources. This time it's 6 people within EA who he interviewed. And they reported that, yeah, EA cancelled another Star Wars game, and it was a spin-off from the Battlefront series. It was called Project Viking. It is now the 3rd Star Wars game to be cancelled since 2017. Star Wars is not having a very good time.
It's not having a good one.
So the first one was Project Ragtag, which was Amy Hennig's game. It was supposed to be an open world game, cancelled in 2017 when they shut Visceral Games down. Project Orca was the next one, being made by EA Vancouver. They were reusing a lot of the assets apparently from Project Ragtag, but that itself was cancelled last year. And now this, which was being worked on by EA Vancouver again, but EA also brought in a studio, Criterion, to help them. They were based in London, so there was two. So Vancouver and London working together wasn't a good recipe according to this article. Now this is a quote from the article. Although Criterion was on paper the lead studio, the logistical challenges of cross-country game development made that a difficult proposition. As one person involved with the game said, too many cooks was a running theme.
It's just yet another missed opportunity with Star Wars. It's like the biggest IP in the world. It should be, in theory, so easy to make a game, but you're right, too many cooks often will just mess up everything, and this does sound like classic EA, like shooting themselves in the foot. You've got the game license to make infinite money, and you keep ballsing it up. But it sounds to me like it's likely to be a shooter if it's specifically a Battlefront spin-off. Who knows if that was going to be a multiplayer thing or anything. But the first game that jumps to my head is a game called Republic Commando, which is all about the clones, and you play as them, and you go through, and it's like a single player, like just story mode, first person shooter, and that could have been really cool, especially if they did it with and it looked as good as the Battlefront games, but unfortunately not going to happen.
This whole story has reverberations of Anthem for me, how it's like problem development, but Anthem came through and was actually launched in a shit state. Now maybe they've learned a lesson, maybe this is what this is. It's like, well, this game's going to shit, let's cancel it rather than do an Anthem again. Yeah,
I'd rather have no game at all than one that came out and was really, really glitchy, especially if something as, you know, lovable as Star Wars.
There you go. Next up, Baldur's Gate 3 is coming to Steam in 2020 as an early access game, according to PC Gamer. Now, Wizards of the Coast confirmed this at New York Toy Fair. Now, they're the owners of the Dungeons & Dragons IP. So they confirmed it at that event. So it will arrive in Steam sometime in 2020 in early access. So the gameplay of Baldur's Gate 3, the first gameplay, is expected to be shown at PAX East presentation on February 27th. So it's only a few days' time. However, this raises questions over Google Stadia's promise that Baldur's Gate 3 was supposed to be a launch window title. A
Stadia promise that isn't being kept? That's unheard of. Well, interestingly, one of our Discord members, Metal Shark, has commented on this saying, "Oh, Stadia, feels bad. Baldur's Gate 3 only goes in early access at the end of 2020. Wonder how many people aren't going to be renewing."
Yeah,
I think that's pretty accurate.
It was one of the big things. It was like big hoo-ha's with the Google Stadia. Saying, "Oh, we've got Baldur's Gate 3. Woo!"
Yeah. Nope.
And then it's like, well, it's coming to Steam this year. I mean,
who's going to choose to play it on Stadia over Steam?
There you go. We'll still have to wait and see. PC. Now, we've got a bunch of shorter ones that I'm going to run through pretty quickly now. One story about Rainbow Six Siege, the 4-year-old game, breaks its own concurrent player record on Steam. Now, this game launched in December 2015, if you're not following along. It's just had its best day ever with over 180,000 concurrent players on Steam. And that figure does not include the amount of players who are playing on Uplay or on consoles. So this game just gets better and better.
I think it's another example of a games as a service done right. People like Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird how Ubisoft know how to do it.
They just
don't do it all the time. It's weird. Next story, there's been 40 new leaked images of Resident Evil 3.
Stars.
Yeah.
There's some really good like concept art in there. There's some like screenshots, but my favorite one is there's a really good look at the new sort of revamped version of Nemesis, because he's not as 90s goth. He's a bit more like biomechanical this time. It's kind of weird, but it looks really cool. Go check him out.
It does look cool. So the very last story today is what games will be releasing this week. Now I'm just going to run through everything that it will be releasing this week and see if anything catches your eye. So on February 25th, we've got Dota Underlords coming on PC, iOS and Android. We've also got Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection on PS4, Xbox One, PC and Switch. And then on the also on the 25th, we've got 2 Point Hospital coming to the Switch, Xbox One, PS4, coming to consoles now after this original release in 2018 on PC. That's probably something I might check out on the search, that's for sure. To play on the go, that'd be a cool one. Next up, Infliction Extended Cut is coming on February 25th again, PS4, Xbox One and Switch. Moving on to the 26th, Warlanders arriving on the PC. Also, Edgar Bock in Balzac. That's a Balzac, I think they're playing on a name there.
There's a pun there.
That's coming to PC, Xbox One and Switch on February 26th. Although it does say it was launched on Steam in 2018. Maybe it was early access or something. Maybe got my wires crossed. Maybe correct me in the comments. Overpass is coming on the 27th to PC, PS4 and Xbox One. Kingdom and the Fire the Crusaders is coming on PC on February 28th. Metro Redux, which includes Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light, is coming to the Switch on February the 28th. That's at the end of this week, so you should be excited for that one. Is the one I've missed here? Blood Roots is coming on the February the 28th to PS4, PC and Switch. We've got Romance of the Three Kingdoms 14 coming to PC and PS4 on February 28th. And the very last one this week, One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, is coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One on February the 28th. And that's all I've got for you today. That is your complete weekend roundup. There are obviously going to be a couple more, but I couldn't fit them into this video, I guess. I hope you enjoyed this new experimental format. If you did, let us know down in the comments. We might do this again next Monday. We might do it again at the end of the week. We can't do this every day because we just run out of news stories essentially, but these are all the stories that were rounded up outside of the Daily Triple, which we couldn't fit in because there's only 3 in a triple. That's just how it is. So on behalf of Henry and myself, we will see you again next time. Until then, bye for now.